Do you gentlemen agree?
Sounds good.
All right, let's do it. Hello, everyone, and welcome to State of the Realm, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV podcast. This week, we're a week into Stormblood at this point. Last week, we spent a lot of time talking about what went wrong. This week, let's see how we're doing a weekend while we're waiting for all the raids to come out. We've got a lot of shows planned over the next month, so just consider this the first of many that you have to look forward to now that we've had Stormblood launched. But anyway, I am one of your hosts, Michael, Mr. Happy Poperomo. Of course, joining me is Slyh, a.k.a. Slythefox, a.k.a. Slyh, a.k.a. Greyfox, a.k.a. you, my boy Blue. How you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. You know what I'm doing right now, Slyh? I am flying around the Locks Instance 3 because Ixion just spawned at Instances 1 and 2. And
I was thinking I was gonna have to do the intro for you because you were gonna be doing Ixion, but
I 90k'd after killing Ixion, but I got gold, so I'm 6 out of 12 horns, and I'm really upset that I missed it in Instance 2, so I'm really hoping for Instance 3 right now. But this, we couldn't just do two of us on a show. I don't think we'll have just two of us on a show for quite some time at this point, Slyh. I think there's too many things going on at the start of an expansion launch. So this week we have a guest who, unfortunately, was unable to join the show last week, but we got him for this week, and we're happy to have him. Of course, it's Ethis' other half, Very Merri. How you doing?
I'm a samurai.
Are you though?
Yeah.
You are the samurai.
You are a samurai. You are indeed. You are indeed a samurai.
You know.
How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
You doing good? You feeling good?
Yeah. I'm doing the same thing. I'm floating in the locks.
You're floating in the locks? Are you dropping items in the Seld?
That's a good idea, but I don't have anything to drop.
I don't even know if he's up on your server.
I kind of feel off because normally I'm sitting in game, but I'm not right now.
Yeah, normally Slyh has the game like up on like a TV, and like if we're like, hey, I wonder this, he like pulls it up real quick and gives us the downloads. Like, yeah, no, check that. But instead, it's Merri and me doing it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this week, I kind of want us to not do as long of a show because last week was 3 hours and next week is spoiler cast, so you already know it's going to be 3 hours again. So this week we're gonna kick back a bit. We're gonna get to talk about some of the things that we didn't get to talk about last week. I want to briefly touch upon gathering and crafting. I don't know if you guys have touched it at all. I have, and it's much more approachable.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. No, it's just a little bit for me too. But I feel like I said last week we can't really do anything because we don't know much about it. So I feel like we owe it to them. Slyh, I discussed this with you. We're going to have Ash on the show once things have calmed down a little bit. You know, probably about 4 weeks from now would be the ideal time for us to have him on once Savage is out and we're done with all the spoiler cast and everything. I want to talk about some of the more subtle things. Again, Ixion, Tamamo. I don't even know how to pronounce the Foxy Lady Fate name. I can't do it. As well as...
Close enough.
Is it? It's not, is it? You're just saying that.
I mean, maybe.
No.
My audio is off, apparently.
Your audio is... How can... You don't have a face. How can your audio be off?
Days without incident.
You know, I mean, literally, your audio can't be off. It's impossible.
Well, maybe it sounds off. Maybe I sound weird.
It sounds fuzzy. There, your mouth isn't moving. Oh my god, it's unsafe. Yeah, they're just trolling us, guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think you sound perfectly normal on my end. There you go. Tamamo no mae. There you go. I'm just gonna pretend that that's 100% correct and not question it.
All right.
So first of all, before Slyh and I get into some things, because Slyh and I both have one thing in particular that we have to talk about this week because we've both been doing it simultaneously. Merri, I want to know, how was your launch and how has your first week been since official launch day, the 20th.
Early access was a nightmare. There's really no other way to put it. I got stuck behind the wall, the famous wall. And so that was frustrating, especially because I really wanted to get through the story. And I was disappointed. I didn't get really angry. I just got really sad.
Wait.
and disappointed.
Hold on. Explain something to
Uh-huh.
me.
Mm-hmm.
What didn't you get Yoshi P's phone number at the media tour, so you could get those hashtag streamer privileges?
No, I forgot to.
Oh shit! That
I
explains
didn't get his
everything.
phone number.
Oh, that's why you couldn't phone the GM to get through. Okay. Your story
Yeah.
didn't make sense to me because you were there at
Yeah.
the media tour with me.
Yeah,
So I didn't,
yeah, I know, right? I know. Jeez.
I didn't understand. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, that makes sense. Okay, no, you can continue.
Yeah. Anyways, so it was disappointing, but the second it cleaned itself up and I got through, it was smooth sailing. Incredible. It was incredible. Amazing experience. Best experience in 14 thus far.
Considering you had to go through Ralbon to get there, that says more about it, I'd say.
Now I want to, since you weren't on last week, and we kind of answered these questions. I'm going to keep Happy's withholding 3 dungeon rule, the final 3 dungeons of pretty much main story.
You know what's funny? We're withholding them here. I did just straight up put the names in the guides at this point.
Okay, fine.
No. Still withhold it here.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. All right.
But I'm saying it's funny just because I didn't. Okay. Well, I didn't. The last trial, I didn't hold. I didn't put the name. I only put the name of the trial. I didn't put the name of the boss.
Fair enough.
So keep that.
Fair
out.
enough.
Okay.
Favorite dungeon, favorite trial.
Favorite dungeon. It might seem like a bit. Actually, you know what? No.
As long as
Actually,
it's not
yeah.
the 67 dungeon, the level 70 main scenario dungeon, or the level 70 main scenario trial, you can name it. Those are the only three things.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna name them. Basically, I'm tied pretty hard between the final MSQ dungeon and the Temple of the Fist for my dungeon.
Really?
I'm surprised. Yeah. I'm equally as surprised.
Yeah, I'm shocked.
And then my trial, I think it's obvious.
Yeah.
The final trial.
And going back, and we talked about this last episode, and I think a day or a few days later, I get this tweet on Twitter. Mike kind of doubling back a little bit.
Okay, I didn't double back. I stand by that. I still think that the build up to the final trial was unsatisfactory to me, but the trial itself was better done with less experienced people. Like, it was a better experience. It felt more epic in the scale of the story. I still am not happy with the way that the very end of the story took place. I'm still not content with that.
Okay.
That's fair.
Fair point.
Did not double back Sly.
So why do you think my choice of dungeon is surprising?
The first boss is so ass, man. that took a lot of the wind out of my sails, that first boss. Like, I was so unhappy with the first trash pulls, the first boss, and like the fact that you couldn't get knocked off between the first and the second boss. Yeah. So I don't know. I just didn't. I thought that Kugane Castle was like in every way better for me at least.
Definitely.
What was so actually now I want to know, why did you like Temple of the Fist more? What was it that did it for you with Temple of the Fist?
So a big part of it is the lore.
Okay.
We finally got some really just like good lore for that, and I was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
Also, just it's pretty. I like the area.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think last week we discussed where for me, it was definitely a level 70 main scenario one, and I think we all kind of agreed. I think Sly and I agreed we like Kugane Castle better than Temple of the Fist.
Yeah.
Did we agree? Yeah, we agreed on that. Especially the final boss.
It hits you in the nostalgia.
So here, let me put it this way. I like the bosses better in Kugane Castle, but I like the aesthetic, the music, and the lore of
the last boss of Temple of the Fist is really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
He's got probably the single scariest attack I've ever seen in a 4-man dungeon, which is Touch of Slaughter.
Touch of
Yeah.
I'm like, did I do something wrong? No, that's how it's works. That's just how it works.
When does Monk get that?
Yeah. Yeah, we got rid of Touch of Death, and he gets Touch of Slaughter. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
5.0. Sorry.
There you go.
What else from the first week did you manage to get done, Merri?
So I did MSQ. I got Samurai and Paladin to 70, 314 on Samurai. Paladin's at 313, but that doesn't really matter because we wear 270 strength accessories, and it's the dumbest thing in the universe. But we won't talk about that right now.
Do you know why they made that change to strength, right? You know why they did it? Why? Because weakness and brink of death.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Is only the main stats other than vitality, because they don't want you losing health for it anymore.
What they need to do is just put strength on the tank accessories. No one can wear them now.
Or just make it flat damage reduction instead of reducing main stats.
That too.
Yeah. No,
There's so many fixes, but yeah, I'm salty about that right now. But I'm sure it's gonna get addressed.
Oh yeah. There's no chance that survives very long.
Yeah. But I did Paladin and Samurai. Samurai's my main, obviously. And
you and the other 200,000 people who fucking picked it up.
Listen, I'm good at it.
You are. Got those tweets of the numbers, and kind of got a little bit jelly.
Got the numbers. Outside of that, though, I've just kind of been exploring, and like I got all my flying and all the zones, and just kind of taking everything in. I only just touched gathering yesterday. I did some of the spearfishing. So
nice,
awesome. So it sounds like you had a very eventful first week.
Yeah.
Do you hit Palace of the Dead from 50 to 60 Samurai? Will you use it for Red Mage?
Slowly, very slowly.
Very slowly.
Very slowly.
Very slowly. Okay, Slyh, don't give me that face.
No.
Slyh.
Oh, I did PvP too.
No, it's too early. We just started. Started the show. It's too early.
Slyh, have you PvP'd yet?
Yes, I have.
Awesome, good, because I've only been watching PvP for the most part, because I've been trying to get all my PvE stuff in a line, and I definitely want you to kind of take. That's one of the things we didn't really get to touch on last week, because we just didn't have much experience with it in early access. So a little bit later in the show, I'd definitely like to have you two discuss it a little bit, since you have had hands-on.
Yeah, sounds great.
So you've had hands-on time with Samurai, and we'll come back to that, because I actually want to, Slyh, I want to pick your brain a little bit now.
Okay.
Before the expansion came out, there's one thing you said in particular, and it's calm your tits about everything, not just about White Mage. We'll get to that in a second. You said you told everyone to calm their tits. Slyh, now with the way that Dragoon is going, how calm are your tits? How are you feeling about Dragoon? How are you feeling about Dragoon?
I'm not angry. I'm a little bit disappointed. So my tits are still calm. It's still good. There, but there are a few things that can definitely be improved. Like, I'm not baby raging over this shit. First and foremost, with life, in regards to Life of the Dragon, the build-up is horrible. If you look at a fight like Susano, and it's at least around 70 seconds that you get Life of the Dragon up, and then it transitions, and you either reapply BOTD to keep it up and maybe get one Nastron, or you just let it fall off and put it back up once the sword comes out. And that all depends on how quickly your tank, or whoever, it should be a tank, whoever clicks on the icon to hold the sword, how quickly they actually do it. So it's a fight basis. Either way, the build up is horrible. Going from that, and we'll talk about this later in terms of PvP, what we really should have gotten was something like PvP with a few exceptions. With PvP, in regards to Dragoon PvP, you get Eyes of the Dragon by doing Wheeling Thrust or Fang and Claw. The only difference is you do get your Skolal. Once you get your 4 Eyes of the Dragon, you do get your Skolal, and then you have to build up 4 eyes again to use a Nastron. Didn't like that in PvP. Dragon Sight. Dragon Sight has been.
I listen as the other melee DPS. I love Dragon Sight. I just want you to know that.
That's the chain.
I know.
That's the chain, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the first time a Dragoon used it on me, I ran away because I thought I was a mechanic.
Yep.
Wow.
Do not do.
Don't do that.
Do not do
Don't do
turn
that.
11 with a fucking Dragoon unsafe.
Oh no!
You're gonna be like, no, the tether. No, not that tether. The other tether. Okay.
But-
yeah. Give me the thoughts.
Dragon Sight. It in terms of controller players, like it kind of
It's
you
fun.
have it's fucked with controller players.
Got to do macro.
You have to use a macro, and you have an option for a macro. Either you have to do it on a fight-to-fight basis based on whoever is in your party, and hope that you get a melee, and just set it to that melee, or you do the whole pick whoever's closest.
Sly, so I have a recommendation. You can make macros that target people in a specific based on where they are in your party list. So
That's the one I have.
You make one for 2, 3, and 4, and then you just whichever one is the one you're actually going to use it on. That's what you use on, and then you just put DPS at the top. That's what I've seen most controller. But yeah, I heard a lot of controller players, and I thought of you when I heard this saying that it's because walk us through how do you use Dragon's Eye on somebody if you're not using macros as a controller player?
What you have to do is you have to you're DPSing, and then you decide, like usually in the opener, I want to Dragon Sight somebody. So you have to target that person, hit Dragon Sight, and then retarget whoever you're fighting and lose a little bit of deeps.
Yeah, you have to go through your party list and then select them, right?
You actually have to be a controller healer, and you scroll through the party list. Or you could use, if you're on PS4, you can use the touchpad, but that's kind of finicky in itself. But yeah, either way, it really, that I felt like that was one thing, that really wasn't, PS4 intuitive, even though I'm about to move the PC really soon.
You're still going to be using a controller, though.
Yeah, I am. So I'm still fucked. But yeah, it kind of threw off controller players a little bit instead. And it's a huge part. It's a huge part of our DPS in comparison to the new jobs, which when you see their numbers, you're like, how the fuck am I going to compete with that? And try to do this, and we need everything we could possibly get to actually compete, and you give us this. So a controller player is like a little bit more behind rather than like a PC Dragoon who's already still behind.
One thing I'm seeing people say is just make a focus target macro. I don't know about you, Sly. I like to focus target the boss. Not a party member.
Yeah.
So.
I had somebody recommend me that last night. There's one thing I saw. Like I was looking at a video of a goon doing like Stone Sky Sea, and they had to, like, I don't think it was even a macro, but they were really quick with it. They did.
Sly, I don't know what Stone Sky Sea is. I know Circle of Answering. Do you know Circle of Answering?
Anyway, what they did was they had their chocobo with them in Stone Sky Sea, and it was really they were on PC, so this was no issue. Yeah, so to kind of actually be able to use their Dragon Sight, they just Dragon Sighted their chocobo and just kept moving.
I want to talk about Stone Sky Sea when I talk about Monk, because I'm very salty about Circle of Answering as a Monk. I have one very useless skill that is very core to my job that I can't use, and it makes me incredibly upset that it's how worthless it is in that scenario. So, Sly, I'm gonna ask you another question.
Okay.
Would you like the payoff for Life of the Dragon to be better, or for the build up to not take as long? Because I'm thinking of Bahamut for Summoners, which has that 2-minute build up to then blow up that. And
Do I have to choose one?
No, you don't. But
okay.
I would like to know which one you prefer more, even if you want both.
Better build up, like shorter build up. Again, being able to get eyes of the dragon based off of Wheeling Thrust and Fang and Claw. Like we could at least go into Life of the Dragon quicker than just basing it off of jumps.
Yeah, and another thing is you both get pretty fucked if you die. Not that you should be dying. I understand that's part of your job, but I'm saying that like, in terms of design, if you die as a Dragoon, you're way more fucked than almost any job other than probably Summoner, who's doubly fucked because their Dreadworm Eater
build it back all over again.
Yep. So you want it to be like the PvP, at least to some degree, like the PvP version.
Some degree.
Okay.
Yeah, because like the biggest enemy, the enemy of any DPS is downtime, but we suffer from it like more. I think more than any other DPS.
Except I'd say Summoners is the only one that's
Summoners would be the only. Yeah.
Okay. Before we get on to Samurai, since I know Merri's chomping at the bit, talk a little bit about Samurai. I want to take this chance to talk about Monk. I love it. I've leveled both Monk and Samurai to 70 because they share gear, so I wanted to be able to get rid of all the shared gear before level 70 right away. But I would like some minor updates. I think Dragoon could use more updates than Monk could. Tackle Mastery is the dumbest thing that's ever been added to the game. Unless bosses can be knocked back and fucking Omega Savage. Like, if I can push Manipulator, like you could back when it was bugged, then I might be okay with the other options. Tackle Mastery is just the only one. It's just basically I get 30 potency extra 90% of the time. There's only been one scenario where I've liked Wind Tackle, and that's Lakshmi's ad phase. And that's it. Lakshmi's ad phase, because it's like kill one GCD, jump to the next, kill one GCD. So it makes sense. As for everything else, Riddle of Earth is fucking amazing. I don't care what anyone says. It's like the amount of uptime on Grease Lightning 3 it just feels so good. And I still have a fair amount of opportunity to use Tornado Kick a lot of the time. So it's definitely less than I used to use Tornado Kick before. But that's fine because it's not there to be used frequently. It's there to cover times where I have no other options, pretty much. And I'm okay with that. Riddle of Fire, also, holy shit. When you get a 12k Howling Fist right before a 13k Elixir Field, right before an 18k Forbidden Chakra, then you get another Forbidden Chakra, and it's ridiculous how hard you hit with this on. And it's not a complete trade-off of your time either, because it'll apply the 15% reduction from Greased Lightning onto your GCD. Like, for example, I have a 2.38 GCD. With a 15% reduction, it goes down to 202. Then the 15% from Riddle of Fire is calculated based off the 202, so it brings me back up to 233. So it's still a little shorter than my base GCD, and it's the 30% damage, which is just fucking nuts.
And that's only your GCD. All your auto attacks are still keeping your.
Dude, I auto attacked for 5.7k with Riddle of Fire. Felt really good.
Yeah, and it keeps the speed of Grease Lightning, so like that's fast and it adds up.
Yeah. So
yeah.
And then we have Brotherhood, and I am 50-50 with this one. Because of this ability, I get maybe anywhere from 15 to 20 Forbidden Chakras a fight, whereas I used to get 3. So that speaks for itself. That being said, I'm salty that it only applies a physical damage buff, because I think there's too much of that between Red Mage, Monk, and of course the resistance debuffs like Disembowel and Slashing still. So the fact that there seems to be so much more focus on physical centric buffs just kind of bothers me. But not only that, Ninja is like almost same DPS, but they got Trick Attack on a 30-second shorter cooldown. It affects themselves. Brotherhood doesn't even affect the monk directly. It only affects the people around the monk, minus the whole feeding stacks thing. As soon as you have a caster DPS in like a 4-man dungeon, then Brotherhood doesn't feel good anymore, because you cannot proc it yourself. Only the tank at that point can proc any Brotherhood stacks for you. So I don't think they can make it so that every ability feeds you stacks, because you'd honestly, like, Forbidden Chakra's got a 5-second cooldown, and you would never get past it. But I would like to at least get the 5% myself. I know bards are feeling this too. I would like to get the 5% for myself, so that when I go into Stone Sky Sea and I hit Brotherhood, it's worthless. Circle of Answering, it's worthless. I can't do anything with this ability. Well,
would it work if you popped it and other people were doing dummies near you.
No, because they're not
in
my
your
party.
Oh, that's right. You can't party up. That's
And
right.
I need to give them they have to have Brotherhood applied.
Could you apply it to your chocobo?
That useless fuck is not that my chocobo. Come on, that's you doing the dragons like that. That's still not satisfactory. I'm doing a striking dummy that's designed for 8 people. I've got my 1 chocobo with me to feed me stacks. There's no way anything about this is remotely accurate. It's just so not applicable to situations like that. So, tackle mastery, just don't touch it. Don't do anything. Don't try to make it more useful. Don't make it less useful. It's wrong. Just move on. But Brotherhood, give it a little bit of love. Just give it a little bit of love, and it'll be in the right spot for me. I'm happy with Monk, and I'm looking forward to mastering the min-max. It's actually a lot harder to min-max on Monk now than it was before because of Riddle of Fire and meditation stacks being more important. If you're like if you have 3 or 4 seconds downtime, you need 1 or 2 meditation stacks during that, because every GCD you might be losing is a potential deep meditation stack being lost, so you need to be making that up somewhere. And then on top of that, you still need to switch to co-whirl stance. You still have to know when to use Riddle of Earth, when not to use Riddle of Earth, and save it for the next. There's so many little things that if you don't do them right, you're either going to lose Grease Lightning or you're going to not keep it in the most efficient of manners. So I love it. And I just look forward to some minor changes. Does not need a lot of love, just some minor love. And because we only play melee DPS on the show, Merri.
Oh boy.
So, yeah, it's safe to say you're pretty happy.
Oh yeah. It's everything I wanted and more. It's where do I even start with Samurai? It feels great. Like, it plays really, really well. I can see, semi-casual players are able to play it well enough to where they're quote unquote competent. But then when you see a samurai who really knows what they're doing, or someone who has a firm grasp of the job and the rotation that thus far has been worked out, it's still kind of like fluctuating here and there. People are figuring out new stuff every day. But once you get it worked out, it is god tier. It is god tier. Most of my fights when I'm doing like primal extremes, I'm probably a good 500, 600 DPS higher than the second highest, usually, sometimes even more. It feels really good. But it's great. It's great. Was my mic loud?
I'm adjusting it on my end. Don't worry.
Okay, cool.
Just keep talking.
So, do you have any anything negative? Like, is there anything that could be worked on?
And don't give me the bullshit AOE TP. That doesn't count as a negative.
Well, I wasn't going to. I think it's fine.
A lot of people have been like, "Oh, my TP runs out so fast." I was like, "Motherfucker, do you see how many times you just spun around?"
They're probably just doing it wrong, because you still have to apply Jinpu.
Yeah.
And that it's I mean,
if you want to do a long rotation, you could realistically rotate between Jinpu combo and AOE combo, AOE, and then do the other combo. Like, if you really want to save TP, Jinpu AOE combo, Shifu AOE combo, Jinpu.
Yeah.
So
So like, I have no issues with TP. I think if I have one gripe with Samurai, it gets frustrating when there's like when you're away from the boss for any period of time, because it flows really well if you stay on top of it. But the second you get off sync, you have so many different cooldowns that, like, if you're doing them right, they hook up like right as you're finishing something else, and it flows. But if they like build up and then you're like struggling to like, okay, which one do I use first? What's the order of priority? You're trying to get everything back up and get back into that flow of things. It's really hard to get back into that flow once it's been like shook up a little bit. And sometimes it's easy to like get a little caught up in things because there's so many different things you're keeping track of at one point in time. You're keeping track of 2 different buffs, a debuff on the boss, how much Kenki you're generating, whether or not you're going to have enough Kenki for your next spender, whether it's your Dot or Madare, like all these different things. And so it's a little easy to tunnel vision, a little easy to get overwhelmed. But outside of that, if you're playing it well and, the the boss isn't being too unkind, it flows great, and the damage is top notch.
I would like to say my only frustration is not when you're away from enemies, but when you're in the middle of a dungeon and you end on like a really weird number of sends.
Oh yes, I hate that too.
Going
actually,
into
yes.
a boss, it's like, okay, I have 2 sends at the start of this boss.
It's a little better once you get Hagakure, because then you can just convert that to Kenki.
Yeah. That's what I do every time, pretty much.
Yep.
Now.
But then you don't have it for your opener, and so like it's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing you can do, because it feels really shitty to start a boss with 2 sends.
Yep. It sure does.
Yeah. I leveled it to 70. Again, I pretty much echo most of your sentiments. I think the AoE rotation is more visually satisfying than even like a black mage AoE rotation.
Oh yeah, especially if you're using the Kenki spender AoE. That one's cool.
It's very, very satisfying.
Yeah, lots of spinning.
Yeah, I can't even keep track of the vortex of death as we call it. So overall, happy with it, because you seemed like you were really excited for Red Mage too, but then you really.
I was more excited for Samurai.
Okay.
No, he's always more excited for Samurai.
All right.
Red Mage I thought Red Mage surprised me because I don't like casters, and so I was surprised that I enjoyed it. And I'm working on it now. Like, I have it to 51, I'm slowly picking away at it.
So one question:
Mm-hmm.
Will they nerf Samurai?
I don't think so. I think it's in a good spot.
I don't think so either. I think there's a reason why they're several hundred ahead. It's because if they're not, then everyone jumps on that whole meta train of everything.
Yeah.
Right now, of all the melees, only Dragoon is really, because of the issues that you brought up, Slyh. Those are like the only job that people want some sort of wide scale changes. Well, I should say the only job.
I don't even say wide scale, but yeah.
I don't know. Changing Life of the Dragon, like activating it, is a pretty large scale change. Going from entirely from your jumps to, if you wanted it to be like it was in PvP. Yeah. That's a pretty big change, but
not too much of a change though.
Going from 70 seconds of activation to
like
that's like 25.
Like your opener, yeah.
Because you get a wheeling. That means you'd be doing wheeling thrust, mirage dive,
Fang Claw,
mirage dive, and then 4 GCDs later, the same thing again. So that's a lot quicker.
Yeah, you would get it in an opener instead of like 70 seconds. Yeah.
I will say this: I think the most impressive thing for me about both Red Mage and Samurai is that they aren't in the same shitty place that Machinist and Astra were. Looking back at Sword launch,
agreed.
They're not. They feel really overpowered to play, but in the scope of everything, they aren't.
Yeah, the big thing that I think too many people get caught up on is it's like their DPS is higher than mine. That's not fair. But the thing is, like, that's not balance. Balance takes into consideration everything that goes into a party and not just your personal DPS. Yeah. And so people see Samurai so far ahead, it's like, oh, that's not fair. How come I'm not that high? Because you have utility that you give the party that further increases the entire group's damage by a substantial amount instead of just you.
You know how many Red Mages I've seen? I see a trick attack window just go completely unemboldened, and then like right after they embolden it for their Verholy, I'm like, you selfish son of a bitch. You selfish son of a bitch. Oh man. I'd say the only job right now of the melees that's overpowered is probably Ninja. It's not that far behind Samurai in terms of overall efficiency, but
they're pretty strong, yeah.
But it brings all the utilities it did before and then some. So their potencies are crazy high. They have way better AoE now than they used to because of Hellfrog and Tenchi Jin, plus some flat potency boosts to everything. So Ninja is in a really good spot right now. If any job gets any sort of minor pullbacks, that might be the only one. Even then, it would have to just be minor potency. Like, it can't be much. It'd have to be very minor potency adjustments. But I like it. Slyh?
No, Mike. In 3.0, we always had our monthly monk buff, right?
That's going to be next week.
Yeah. I think you think goons are in that place now.
I actually really like the tools they gave Dragoon, Battle Litany is still Battle Litany. I'm never, as a monk especially, never am I going to turn down the crit from Battle Litany and being the target of the eye as a monk. Right. Are you kidding me? That sounds like a dream come true. I don't even need Disembowel. Disembowel got a slight nerf, which is fair. It was kind of like one of those like, hey, this is a mandatory utility kind of thing before, because they're the sole giver of that.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think it's, again, it comes down to Life of the Dragon, the way that you described it earlier. I think if we see adjustments, it'll be to Life of the Dragon, pretty much.
Okay.
Now,
because I was gonna concede that, you know, if you don't nerf samurai and everything, just bring us up a little bit.
I think you have the right to want some adjustments to Life of the Dragon, especially from the way you described it. It does not sound like a pleasant experience. But this Slyh, there's one other job that we were crying about, or telling people not to cry about a while back. It's this little job called White Mage.
Yeah, how about that?
So nobody wants to delete White Mage anymore.
Wonder fucking why.
They want to delete Scholar is what they want to do.
They want to delete Scholar. No, not just Scholar. Well, in regards to healer, Scholar, but Scholar and Warrior.
All right.
Which was surprising.
Man, it's going to be great having Xeno on in 2 weeks. That's gonna be a great experience. So Slyh, you and I have actually started leveling our White Mage. What level is your White Mage?
68.
Oh, you're a little ahead. I'm 67. I decided not to level it today, so I only got it to 67. And how have you been enjoying it?
It's so different from like almost a year ago when I kind of made that bed. Yeah, well, yeah, that too. Made that bed that I would start leveling my healers, and I started with White Mage, and I was like, fuck this shit, fuck healing, I don't want to do this shit anymore. And then I get back to this, and I was like, holy shit, this is actually fun. Now, a few things. One, I will agree with you. The lilies kind of make no sense.
It's funny. I don't like them, but I've grown partial to them. And I'll explain why when you're done explaining why you don't like them, or why what
it's
you
not
do
that
and
I
don't like.
It's not that I don't like them. Hell, I've saved a few people with lilies a little bit. If it would actually affect your size, or affect your tetra, or affect your asylum, that'd be great, but they don't. So it's just
CDR.
It's just that you use it and you lose all your lilies. Divine venison. I always call it divine venison. Like
I do that on purpose, so I don't even do it by accident. I do it on purpose. I call it divine venison on purpose.
Yeah. Divine venison is great.
Sounds tasty.
It is awesome. It is. It's our stone skin, basically.
Except way better.
Way better. Like when the first time I used it, I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. I'll build up lilies for this shit.
I'll cast a cure 2 just to divine venison somebody. Absolutely. My fucking MP is infinite anyway. I can't burn it even if I tried. So
right, fucking thin air.
Yeah, my mind was like, so here's the thing, because of the 100% on cure 2. People have been far more partial to it, because White Mage is literally the mana battery, whereas Scholar used to be the mana battery, and its throughput is through the roof. Yeah. It's insane. Well, here's the thing, for 4-man dungeons, also, it's the only one that doesn't have shitty AoE, because Scholar's AoE also got gutted, and Gravity is Gravity. So Arrow 3, Assize, Holy is all still as great as it ever was. Yeah. So going through dungeons. Do you feel
like White Mages have become the DPS healer?
So that's I don't want to speak, because I'm not a pro healer, and I haven't played the other two. So Bokchoy put up a post regarding the 3 healers on Reddit the other day, and the general consent. Well, here's the thing: White Mage always had higher damage than the other healers' personal output, but their MP would just plummet. Back when Ether Flow was 20% and they were DPSing with energy drains, and it was impossible. You couldn't, like, it was really hard to burn through all your MP as a scholar before. White Mage is now very efficient because of a size, of Lucid Dreaming, of Thin Air, and on top of when you do have the Lilies, you get the cooldown reduction on other skills like Tetra and Divine Benison and Size and Asylum that is also making sure you don't spend MP. So it all comes together in what feels like this grand master plan of creating the pure healer. It's just they also happen to have solid output in both four mans in terms of AoE and then also on single targets, which is pretty impressive.
It's also nice because you can really tell when a white mage is DPSing now, because Stone, 4 or 5, is so loud.
Yeah.
Just that rock cracking. It's like, good, the healer's DPSing.
So, all in all, I think, one, we'll have to see how it pans out in Omega. I honestly think that I can't, call 100% Sly was right, Sly Jesus, until we see white mages, what they can do in Omega. I'm gonna take 25% now, and then wait until Omega and take the other 75% of Sly was right. But yeah, I'll take it. Tit should have been calm.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was very surprising to see the scholars end up having to go up in arms.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, white mages, y'all are raging for nothing. Like, look at the scholar over there. Like,
Yeah.
no, break out a chocobo. Break out a chocobo.
Oh, don't bring the chocobos into this slide. No.
Break out a chocobo and see how they do compared to that
No,
scholar.
don't bring the chocobos into
How about that?
I'm going to apologize in advance. There may be some keyboard clacking because Ixion just spawned.
I don't blame you. He hasn't spawned in
Go
instance.
ham.
He hasn't spawned in
Go
instance
ham.
3 for me, so
There
don't
he
worry. I
is.
feel you. Yeah, Ixion's spawning on like all the servers, so we're gonna get a bunch of people crashing. So Sly, before I had heard of that meme, I had started using my chocobo to heal me in A ranks, and I'm used to in Heavensward where this motherfucker was dumb as rocks. I'm missing like 80% of my health, and he's like, chocobo medica. And I'm just like, hello? Then I pulled him out in like the A ranks, and I noticed Choco Cure hitting me for like 7.5k and Choco Medica healing me for like 4.2. And I'm just like, this is amazing now. And then I see Embrace hit me for 3.5, and I'm like, uh-oh.
So you know what this means, right? We're getting chocobos in dungeons now, right? Like, instead of taking a scholar, just take your chocobo and it'll be fine. Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
Not nice.
That's all I'm saying. I'm sorry, scholars. I'm sorry.
Feels really, really bad, man. It is actually the truth that I actually would prefer my chocobo over EOS at this point. Yeah, sorry, scholars. They got to do something. Scholar.
Yeah, well, they're going to.
Scholar can get by with what they have. Okay, I've done the extreme primals with Scholar and not noticed any problems. But by the end of it, the Scholar was not happy with how he had to handle the fight. Not so much that they couldn't handle it. It was just so not satisfying to play the way that they have to play now.
Right.
The fun factor is what's way down more than the efficiency, which is also down from what it was before. If you want a DPS, it's just broil. Bane's garbage. You fucking lost 100% uptime on Shadow Flare, all this other stuff. And then everyone's like, yeah, thanks for that 20% crit buff. And like, fuck you. That's Scholar, so like, take the fucking 20% crit buff, you pieces of shit. Yeah, and then they just move on in life. That's it. They're like, that's what you brought me here for. So fucking enjoy it, because that's all you're getting from me at this point. I think that Scholar's one of those jobs due for some.
Oh yeah,
some change.
They
adjustments.
They got it.
Yeah, Astro's just, first of all, Astro's still Astro. I don't know who the fuck designs this job. But they clearly don't work on the other healers, or they clearly do, and then deliberately like Astro more. I don't know. I seriously don't know how Astro's design gets through like after 3.4, where it's even better. I don't I don't. It's better. How did you make it even better? Oh my god. Earthly Star, the Lord, the Lady. They're so good. They're so good. And then Scholar is like, I'm out of MP, guys. I don't know. I haven't run out of MP in 4 years. I love listening to him kill Ixion. I just want to know if he gets gold.
Yeah, sorry.
No, it's going to be the same. If he spawns for me, I'm doing the exact same thing.
Yo.
And we're going to talk about the fates in a little bit too, because those are pretty big.
Yeah.
Obviously, Sly and I mess with healers. You mess with Paladin. None of us have played Warrior, so I'll just say that Xeno's consensus is that it's in a very awkward spot.
It's fucked.
It looks weird. And Paladin is so good.
It's clunky. They lost a few things. Changing stances sucks.
Yeah.
But we're not
and that's so
experienced.
important.
So we'll let Xeno talk about it in 2 weeks, because he will be on and he can bring us a professional.
I'm actually looking forward to what he has to say about Dark Knight too.
He put out a thoughts video on Dark Knight. I haven't watched.
He's done all 3, I think.
Yeah, I think he's done all 3. Yeah, too.
Yep.
Okay, but we'll leave that for him, since he's the experienced tank. It just doesn't make sense for us to try and talk about it.
Yeah.
I can talk about Paladin, but that's about it.
Everyone could talk about Paladin, dude.
Oh, because everyone's playing Paladin.
Everyone's in love with Paladin right now. It's so ridiculous.
So do you remember on the show before Stormblood, I said Paladin was my least favorite thing from the media tour? Well,
and now
eating those words.
It's weird how going from a media tour to full game and not even a whole lot changing between the two, and your opinion has changed so drastically.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
And then for the casters, again, Red Mage from media tour. I'd say that everyone had the rotation for Red Mage figured out after the live letter, before the embargo came off. Everyone knew Red Mage's rotation, and that's still doing well. Black Mages, I'm not hearing too many complain, because they big boom, and that's all they want to do, except some want some more utility. And Summoners, they're saying they're boring as shit. They can't see past Demi. By the way, I have seen people fail mechanics because they can't see the fucking marker behind Demi Bahamut.
Bahamut statue.
Yeah, they're like, hello?
Funny.
The Japanese community's asking to make him transparent. Reduce the increase the transparency on him.
Terrible idea.
In regards to something like that, Lakshmi's hand fucking gets in the way sometimes. Like when she's out, like big Lakshmi, and she's out, and like you'll just run around and you see a hand just come up on your screen, like, bitch, move your fucking hand. Same with Bardom. Same with fucking Bardom. Like when you're in Bardom's battle and you're doing the second boss, which is Bardom himself, like and you're like you get the marks and you have to run around, and then you see fat ass Bardom's hand.
Yeah, I don't take the North Quadrant because of that. I literally avoid the quadrant closest to him for that exact reason.
Yeah.
And but Summoners are actually doing pretty well in terms of output. It's just that it's just so many awkward things. Same thing with Life of the Dragon, where they have all that build up, and their build up's way better than Life of the Dragons in terms of what the output is. But they also, if they fuck up once, if they ether flow too early or they die, it's boned beyond all belief. Like more boned than they were in 2.0 when they had mana issues. And also Devotion fucking sucks. It's a great skill that never works the way you want it to, because it's based on proximity. So change that to targeted, please. You know how many times as the white mage at this point, I've run to dodge a mechanic and I take a step too close to the summoner pet who's trying to put it on the other DPS, and I get it, and all of a sudden I'm doing 5% more damage and taking 5% less damage. So please make that targeted. Please stop making that a proximity thing. That's number one.
Well, if they should do proximity, it should be for
Everyone.
the Dragoon thing, maybe.
No.
All right?
No. Just let you select the target, please. Just let the summoners pick the target of Devotion. That's all I'm asking. And then going on to range DPS, everyone's very happy with Bard. Not many people are happy with Machinist. Lower damage, lower utility, and the heat gauge. It's actually a loss to go fully overheated, even though it gives you the bonus damage. So it kind of the purpose we thought it might serve, it doesn't. So Machinist, Warrior, Scholar are probably for the 3 most major balance updates, and then you have somewhat, semi-major in that of Summoner and Dragoon, and then you have minor updates for a few of the other ones. And it looks like we'll be in a pretty good spot once all that happens. When do we think the balance patch is going to be?
I think, honestly, I want to say with Savage, we might see some little tweaks.
I say earlier.
Well, because I think they'll take info from normal.
Because normal information is so valuable.
I mean, it'll give them an idea, of kind of like.
So 3.01 is when we got some minor adjustments to some of the jobs. They weren't very many. They were very minor. I'm thinking it'll probably be even after Savage, because the reason why they didn't do updates in the middle of progression was because they didn't want people to be progressing and then all of a sudden there's a meta change, in a sense. So
I think it'll make more sense to just go ahead and get out the way. I think 2 weeks is enough time for you to get used to a meta change.
No, I don't. It's not even that. I don't think 2 weeks of launch is enough data for them to make major changes. There's enough there to fix a few things.
Yeah,
but I don't know that it's enough time to just literally majorly update something. I would just like to see some of the key points hit, even if just temporarily, and then fully. I think we'll see some large scale stuff in 4.1. Yeah.
Little things like changing the tank accessory stuff.
It actually does bother me. I mean, I'm glad that so since this game launched in 2.0, accessories have literally been the biggest fuck up for 4 years. I don't know what it is.
They flip flop on so many things often.
So let's go through all the problems real quick. 2.0 and 2.2 crafted accessories are the shit, right? So then they try just making sure that's not a problem, and then they end up still being most important because of vitality going into final coil as well as second coil Savage. Then you hit 3.0, and then you have you start hitting the mix of strength versus of more strength versus vitality that had started in final coil, and then they just they have lower item level, then they decide to match the item level, and then it's strength versus vitality and
maiming and striking
and
now it's back to maiming.
And they can't make up their fucking minds on the names of any of the accessories, and then we got tanks or strength accessories at this expansion, and they're probably not going to be able to wear them because we had the vitality changes to give them attack power just to undo it and give them strength again. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, they really have no idea. It's just everything's in flux.
4 years of issues with the fucking accessories. I can't wrap my head around. So you want to know what the worst part is? Alamegan Ring of Slaying, what I'm wearing right now. Monk Dragoon Samurai. Lakshmi Bracelet of Maiming. Monk Dragoon Samurai.
Yeah.
I'm losing my mind right now.
Yeah.
Oh my god. 2 different names on the same exact type of accessory. So,
I got gold, by the way.
You got gold? Good.
Got gold.
That is 4 out of 12 now?
Yep.
Yeah. So, okay. Speaking of which, let's take this time to move off. We've covered the jobs we can talk about, and then the general consensus on jobs we don't know shit about. All right? I want to talk about some of the content we didn't talk about last week, because we covered the basis of almost everything, but we didn't take too much time. We talked about the Stygian Ash thing for Ixion. We talked a little bit about the hunt, and we talked a little bit about the Foxy Lady. But we really didn't talk about them that much in depth. And I feel like one of the big questions people have right now is what content is there to do if you sped through the main story and did the Extreme Primals. So I want to bring to light some content that's not just dungeons. Your favorite thing to do that's not dungeons right now, here in 4.0, while waiting for Omega Normal, Omega Savage, Yellow Scripts, the Lost Canals of Uvner, or Uznair, which are all due in the next 3 weeks. Yeah. So, Slyh, first for you. In this, it could be anything that's not literally just speed through the main story and do the dungeons and extremes. What is your favorite thing to do other than that at this point?
Probably going to be crafting.
Slyh, I didn't ask you to lie. I asked you to tell us the truth.
A lot of people believe that this shit is... Okay. Before Stormblood came out, pretty much most of my streams, if not all of them, were crafting streams. Trying to get my crafters up. And that's still the case. Probably once after I finish my white mage, I'll probably get started on some gatherers, kind of coincide with my alchemist and me being a pot dealer. Yeah.
Sly, I'm gonna quiz you on alchemy right now.
Mm-hmm.
What are the name of the new potions?
What are the incantations or
Close.
God, I've heard.
Infusions.
Infusions.
All right, quiz
now,
question number 2. What's the difference between infusions and supermax potions?
Longer, 15 seconds longer.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about and I was wondering about that because the stat on the infusion is a little bit less, but it's longer. So it's like you have to kind of
way better. It's the 17 main stat loss on the infusions is well worth the fact that the new potions last 30 fucking seconds.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's very, very, very worth it. I'm so looking forward to buying infusions and having a 30-second potion.
It's gonna be real nice for openers too. You get everything.
Yeah, you get everything in it. Like, depends on where you pop it, but yeah, like if you pop it at the beginning, then yeah, you pretty much get your entire opener. And yeah, you're right.
You should. I think every job except like Samurai, I think, should have 2 dot applications during an infusion. Samurai being the only one that won't because its dot application is 60 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Goddamn.
So if you didn't know that the new potions last 30 seconds, everyone, go celebrate. And they're apparently they're not that hard to make either. So they shouldn't be like crazy.
So you don't need an etheric reduction for these?
I think you do, but the etheric reduction items aren't that bad. You need etheric reduction for some things, but like the most expensive one on my server are the botany ones, and those aren't even that bad. But Gilgamesh has a lot of people doing that kind of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dusklight, which was the name of the mining ones, I was like 30k for a day, and now it's like 4k for an NQ one. So I don't know. Infusions. I'm looking forward to putting those in my open, because now you can't do a budget. You can't do fucking budget potions anymore. We can't like pull X potions when infusions are out. The inferiority is way too high to pull that shit anymore. Yeah. You got to be running with infusions at this point.
Yeah.
All right. So, Slyh, that's your crafting. If you say so, is your favorite thing to do on the side. We'll check back in on that.
I'm still mad you don't believe this. There is video proof of this shit.
There's video proof of you doing it, not of you liking it.
Ooh.
I actually do like it. It's gotten better.
Then this is the first video proof, and I'm gonna say you're lying. You're slying. There you go.
Oh fuck.
Okay. Got him.
Right. Merri, what do you like to do?
So I'm gonna have a really at this answer here. I've been having a lot of fun just kind of flying around and exploring the zones and doing the sightseeing log and talking to NPCs and just kind of getting a feel for the new areas and the new locations and everything. I really like I've been exploring around the steppe a lot. It's very cool.
Do you like jump puzzles? Because that's very exploratory.
Yeah, those are fun too. I have the Kugane Tower one mastered. I can do that one in like under a minute.
Yeah, I saw the video of you doing it, Habs. I'm like, no. Like, Slyh, when are you going to do the jump puzzle?
But there's a sightseeing log here. I'll read it to you.
Oh, boy!
Here, I'm gonna read you the sightseeing log right now.
Not a sightseeing log.
At least do the one at the fucking inn. The one at the inn takes like 20 seconds. Not even. Let's see.
Yeah, that one's easy.
Let's see. Where is it? It's number 26, I believe. Yes. Shiokaze Hostelry, a towering tavern, the largest in Kugane, favored by local merchants and dock workers and foreign visitors alike. Guests can indulge in Far Eastern cuisine made with the freshest seafood while sipping on fine rice wine imported from Koshu, the main island of Hingashi.
Yeah.
And that's all you get for a fucking jump puzzle that took you like, what, 20 or something minutes?
Cool screenshots.
Yeah, you get some cool screenshots. And then you also have the Bokairo Inn, An inn with sweeping ocean views, famed for the healing properties of its hot springs. The public baths of Hingashi are largely mixed gender, and it is customary to bathe naked. But in a trading hub such as Kugane, where folk of myriad cultures and creeds mingle, one is expected to don not one's name day, but bathing suit. Sly, this one's got naked. This one's got naked people in it, at least.
Naked
But we
mixed
kind of learned that
baths.
through we kind of learned that through the Dragoon job quest anyway.
By the way, Monk Job Quest is spectacular.
Really?
Samurais.
It involves who you think it involves and what you think it involves. So please look forward to potentially being a point in 4.1.
Ooh.
It has to be. There's no way. There's no way it's not. I won't accept it if it's not. Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
For me, hunting. I've been
Yeah.
very, very involved in hunting this expansion, and it's not just because there's a mount that needs 3,000 A ranks and 2,000 S ranks.
Good luck on that one.
I'll pull up the achievement right now. I'll let you know how close I am. So, in terms of A ranks, I have done 1,164 out of 3,000. And for S ranks, I have done 254. I thought I did 256. I've done 254 out of 2,000 S ranks. I'm almost there. And
I'll talk to you in a couple years.
It's 2,117 S ranks in theory in a year. Approximately 2,117 maximum S ranks in a year.
So we'll see Tiger 2020.
Yeah, exactly. By 5.0, I'm gonna have it.
Yeah.
That's my goal. By 5.0, I want that mount. If I don't care if I'm asleep and I need to fucking have Ariala like tied to my alarm clock, I want it.
Shocks you awake.
For me, it's just I like getting crack clusters, to be honest.
Mm.
How many A ranks did you say you had?
1,164, I think. Why? How much do you have?
855.
Slacking. Mary's got like 200.
No. In
250
terms
A
of,
ranks.
in terms of S ranks, I only have 83.
I got 51.
There are
S
some
ranks.
people who already have the Centurio Tiger because they've been hunting for the last 3 years.
I've heard
like I
about
said,
that.
they've been hunting for 3 years at this point, so it's no surprise that they have it.
That's insane to me.
I think I've probably skipped like 200, 300 S ranks over the years. I don't fucking need that. Why would I go?
Right.
This is exactly what happened with the Moogle quests. I don't care about crafters. Why would I do the Moogle Beast tribe? Sure enough, here I am years later. I've literally been obsessing over spawning S ranks, especially the new
you
ones.
told us that today. Yeah, you told us you've been spawning S ranks.
I spawned Salt and Light today. I spawned it. Me and one other guy. We worked together. Do you know how to spawn? Do you know how to spawn Salt and Light?
Just dropping shit.
You literally go into the lock celled, which is a little pool of water, and you just drop items out of your inventory. If his window is open, then he's got a chance of spawning every time you drop an item.
But how do you know he's spawned?
You can see S ranks from across the map, so like when maybe you finish a stack, you just fly around real quick, and if you don't see him, because S ranks render from across the map.
Yeah.
So you can usually just fly really high and like check a cave or two here or there.
Now, does it have to be a stack of an item or just one item?
We've spawned them off like 10 items before.
Okay.
And just
Do you have to be
somebody calls
underwater?
them. No, floating on the top.
I'm gonna drop this kukuru butter.
Make sure that his window's open on Balmung. Otherwise, you're going to be wasting your time.
How do people figure that shit out? Happy figured it out through an NPC.
Yeah,
They give you little hints.
Yeah, the NPC.
Yeah.
So for Salt and Light, the NPC tells you that a troop of goblins were cornered in the lock celled by Garlean troops and were killed, but they had dropped items into the lock celled, one of which was a machine that absorbed the water and gave birth, probably the same machine that is inside A3 Savage.
Living liquid.
Yeah, living liquid. However, the two things were, do you just drop an item or do you drop a machine, like some sort of mechanical item, like a Garlean item or something? And we've spawned it with, boiled eggs and Gasol green, so it doesn't matter what item it is. And then the other one is Gamma, who I've obsessed over way more. He spawns in Yanjia. You know how you spawn him?
You drop things in the river.
Nope. He's similar to Kaiser Behemoth.
You have to have which minion?
Toy Alexander.
Really?
Yes, you need to have Toy Alexander and go to and then go to his spawn points until he appears.
What is Gamma?
He is an armored weapon.
Ah,
The Garlean armored weapon.
I see.
So I've been enjoying figuring out how to spawn these. I think the ones we don't know yet are Okina. Well, there's the Fringes and the Peaks, which aren't even in the game yet. Those 2 S ranks aren't in the game.
Huh.
They're congested areas. They did the same thing with hunts in Heavensward, actually. Sea of Clouds and Corthus Western weren't available for a while.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because those are the beginner areas, so they're most congested.
Yeah, they don't want them to explode.
Yeah. And so it's the same for us for the Fringes and the Peaks. Okina is the one from Ruby Sea, which almost everyone had spawned, I think, last night in all their instances or something like that. And then if people think it's spearfishing. I don't know about that though, because it spawned way too it was way too close together on all the servers. You know, maybe people were just spearfishing and it happened, but
yeah.
And then I can't remember the name of the wall in Ozim Steppe. It's like it begins with an O. Whatever it is, there's a fate in the northwest corner of the map, something for tribute. You have to kill a wall. Sometimes you kill that fate, sometimes it spawns.
That's easy.
Yep. So we're figuring them out, and every time you kill an S rank, you get a guaranteed grade 6 materia. So it's
that's pretty sweet.
It's pretty sweet. A ranks have a 50% chance of giving you grade 6 materia. Organa, that's what it's called. Organa. Yeah. I'm gonna go try spawning that tonight, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I need 1750 more. So hunting, I've just been obsessed over hunting. If I'm in an instance, I'm scared every second I'm in an instance that a hunt is gonna spawn. I don't feel like I can. So that's why I've been gathering so much, because if it does spawn, I'm there.
Yeah.
I remember back in Heavensward, I had the same. I had your same kind of fascinations. Well, not even fascination, but just. I love doing hunts, and I remember I think it was 2 years ago that Heavensward first came out, and for my birthday stream, I did 7 hours of hunts, just straight fucking hunts, because I needed the law gear. Now, I'll do it for the materia, but that'll probably be it.
I'll say this: I really wish I could desynthesize Verity gear, because I've been sitting at 2,000 Verity for a very long time now.
There's not a lot of shit you can desynth right now.
Dude, the dungeon gear, I've been desynthing like crazy. It's so much gear drops in dungeons. Everyone's like, all right, this is just wasting my time. So I'm like, fucking, it's not wasting my time. I made like 5-6 mil off just desynthing shit from dungeons at this point while leveling a few jobs. Especially the level 70 dungeons, which give Dawn Surge, which on our server is like 70 to 80k. On some servers, it's like 300k. Like on Zalera, I think it was 300k when I checked earlier or something like that.
Jeez.
I'm surprised they didn't do the upgrades. Because log gear we could upgrade when it came out.
Yeah.
We can't upgrade this, which is why I actually want to ask what item level you guys think Omega Normal is going to be. I think it's going to be 320.
Me too. It does bring into question, though, that'll kind of sort of, not entirely, there's going to be best in slot, obviously, but it's going to kind of invalidate the accessories a little bit. Or maybe they just won't exist.
But at least at this point, if one accessory is not best in slot, you have the other one.
Yeah.
And then for people who can't beat Lakshmi, they only have one choice. It's almost very similar to the same sort of way we have the progression for Savage and Tomestones, except now it's like Extreme Primal and Normal. So if something's not Bis, you can mess around with it a little bit.
This brings up another topic. Melding current BIS.
No, I'm not. I melded a few things, and then I was like, that was a waste of time.
Well, here's the thing. It's cheap to meld 5s. So if you're going to meld anything, if you're feeling froggy and you want to meld something,
6s are so superior. I can't bring myself to meld 5s.
They're superior, but why would you want to meld 6s on this gear, knowing damn well that normal comes out in about a week, and you're probably going to get even better gear, and it's not even going to fucking matter. So if you were going to meld anything, meld 5s. It's cheap. You're not going to have it for long.
I just put 6s in my 320.
In the accessories?
Accessories in my weapon.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I can understand that. They're so easy to come by. So it's like, I just want to save them for crafted gear. Like, that's the thing.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I want to save for crafted gear and actual Omega gear, not, just quote-unquote wasted.
Speaking of Omega Delta comes out next week. Is Omega Delta normal? how are we feeling about normal mode? Because we're pretty sure it's going to be the same as Gordius, Midas, and Creator in terms of their normal modes.
Yeah.
Are we looking at like the quality of Creator normal or the quality? Because Gordius normal was laughable, and then you had like Creator normal where A11 and A12 were like kind of still fun on normal, and even A8 was still kind of fun on normal. A7 actually was really good on normal. Thinking back. How do we think it's just, done with it in an hour, get all your loot done for pretty much the week, or you think they're going to be at least fun enough to get us back in there a few more times? Do you think the loot system will work the same too? Give me everything.
That's tough. I think we might see a little bit of a change to the loot system, maybe, just because they've been kind of mixing things up. I have no idea though.
We know Omega Savage.
It'll still be, it'll still be weekly though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
I think it'll definitely be weekly. It's a question of just looking at the way gearing has worked here. Like Verity Tomestone's the weapon's 500.
Yeah.
Which is really
low. A lot cheaper.
So it makes me think Omega Normal is going to be also significantly less tokens to hand in.
Yeah, like instead of 4 for a body, maybe it'll be like 3 or 2. Who knows?
Yeah. That's about the only change I'm expecting. I am also expecting to get the poverty accessory from the completion of the story quests.
Yeah, definitely.
That poverty accessory. Are you guys looking forward? Do you guys think, without spoilers, do you think Omega Normal is going to fare better than Alexander?
Fun wise or story wise?
Story could be part of fun. So take with it whatever direction you want to take it.
Story wise, definitely. You have nowhere to go but up.
Oh yeah, it makes.
I'm sorry to say that, but you have nowhere to go but up. Go ahead, Merri.
I say that as well for a very specific reason. We've seen what the raid armor looks like, and in most cases, in almost every case, the armor is always relevant to whatever's happening.
Right.
And so that gets me really excited for the idea of what this whole tier of raid might encompass, if that makes any sense.
For anyone who doesn't know, they already confirmed Omega Delta will well, I guess technically normal and savage, it's like one is dyeable, usually slight changes, is Genji gear.
So I'm a little interested to see how this pans out, and it has me really excited.
All right.
Happy?
I don't know. To me, it's always gonna be normal, but I always love going into the duty finder in normal with random people and just watching it unfold.
Especially fucking A11. I remember when A11 first came out, and even weeks after that, A11 would be that one interesting normal that you would do and just hope, you just take bets on how many wipes you would get with like a random fucking party in A11. Over under at 3, and I usually would hit that. Right on the money, 3. There would be some weeks where people just got their shit together. But I look forward to it.
I can't wait till next week's spoiler cast so I can give real predictions about Omega. Real predictions.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing, have you guys touched maps at all?
No,
I haven't.
I haven't had great luck. There's one really expensive item called Taoist Cloth from it.
Yeah, for the new outfit.
And then I'm just waiting for Lost Canals of Uznair. Because all the old content hasn't scaled up. Fucking the only new thing in Wondrous Tales so far is the wind-up Chloe, which I think is this week.
Yeah.
And then
That's nice.
Aquapolis is still all level 60 shit. So Lost Canals of Uznair, and I'm hoping Wondrous Tale updates are going to be in the next few weeks. And with all the cracked crystals and cracked... I really hope we get cracked crystals in those by next week or something like that. So there's a lot of updates to existing content that I'm expecting that surprisingly I find more to do at the beginning of Stormblood than I did at the beginning of Heaven's Word, even though we're kind of in the same boat in terms of the way everything progressed. It's something about it. And by the way, don't skip the job story quests. They are actually, so far, really good on a lot. The Warrior one especially. If you skip the Warrior job quest, I hate you. Because as bad as everyone's saying Warrior is, they have some of the best job quests. You will die laughing.
Mel was telling me that, at the beginning of Early Access, he was saying that the first quest for Warrior was pretty good, even though it's an instance. It's actually pretty fucking good, and like eventually I'll level it, but yeah.
Do not skip the warrior quests.
Oh god,
no, I'm demanding you do not skip the warrior quests.
Samurai, it's forgettable.
Goon was pretty. Goon. Fuck it. Spoiler: Durgan daycare. That's all I can say.
All right, that's not. You didn't really spoil anything. I don't feel like I don't understand anything. So
yeah,
there will be dragons, and I will take care of them. That's
pretty much.
Oh no! In Dragoon's story, I would have never suspected there would be dragons.
Who would have thought? Like
Yeah.
it's Dravanian Forlands all over again.
Okay. And for Monk, it's exactly what you think it is.
Yeah.
I'll just say that, and it ends spectacularly. So I'm looking.
We've all read the lore book.
Yeah, we've all read the lore. We've talked about Theodred. Oh no, Theodred was the old king. What's it called?
Vidargelt?
Well, Vidargelt is the name he uses as a guise.
Yeah.
Whereas he has his actual Alamegan name, which is different. Yeah. So very good. So the reason why I haven't gotten to this final topic yet is because it's the one topic I can't talk about, PvP. I have not done it yet. I've only watched people wreck shit. I watched Tequila annihilate people with Bard. I watched Dark Knights unmending people to their fucking doom.
Oh god.
I watched Dragoons just utterly obliterate people with when all their abilities are up.
Fun.
I've watched Merri Samurai literally spamming Mekio just to Midari people who are at 40% health and completely kill them.
Instantly die.
And they instantly die. It's so much more fun to watch even. So that is my only thing I can add to this conversation.
You can kill people now. You can kill healers. You can kill people, and it's fun. It's great. So again, like there's gonna be things that just aren't super great. Like chasing as a melee can be kind of annoying. Samurai has a little bit better because we have a cooldown where we can dash around.
Well, in regards to chasing, it for goons, I can say it's not that bad because the cooldown on jumps isn't like it's significantly lower.
Is the PvP jump a gap closer jump though?
Yes. Do we have
Spine Shatter?
You do have Dragon. You have Spine Shatter. Yes.
Okay.
We have our regular jump and we have Spine Shatter, but so like it's different in comparison to its PvE equivalent. Yeah, it just feels so much fun. Like,
Oh yeah.
God.
So take me through Slyh. Take me through a match of PvP.
All right.
One. Still mad we can't use our words.
Well, you can in Frontlines, just can't in Feast.
Yeah.
In Feast, yeah. We still have to go through the whole button push, and I had to reset that because different hotbar setup. So you go get buffs, everything the usual, and you kind of get together. I felt that it's kind of like whereas they made it kind of difficult to kind of just blast down a fucking healer in previous Feast. This one, maybe it was the fucking healer, but goddamn, bitch went down in like 5 seconds.
As a terrible healer, I've been forced to Astro sometimes in PvP and 3.x. Let me tell you, I was able to survive for a really long time. So I'm just assuming that now I'm one of those healers that would just get murked.
Yeah, if you automatically call at the beginning, like before the gate even opens, attacking healer, and you attack the fucking healer, that shit will, especially if you have like a goon in your like, that shit's gonna hurt. It's just gonna fucking hurt. I haven't experienced the Bard explosion yet. I haven't to deal with that. It was weird. Seeing a Dark Knight unmend and just yank me like it was a fucking home game. I had that happen. I was like, wait, what? Wait, unmend is a pullback? Huh. Interesting. Other than that, like, I feel the changes make it a little more competitive. I feel
a lot more.
A lot more. There do have to be a few adjustments, especially fucking Bard. Jesus Christ.
Bard and Machinist, they're pretty deadly.
Machinist has always been deadly. the only issue that some people will have, and Ethis has talked about, like I've talked about this with Ethis and all of you, the only issue people will have in terms of PvP, both front lines and feast, are the people there for the free chicken. That's the only issue.
Slyh. So I do my weekly Q&A, and I said that line 2 weeks ago. And so, no, Slyh, that's not the funny part. That's not the funny part. I said, people are there for the free chicken, right? And I said, hashtag shout out to Slyh. And then this week, someone asked me, where are free chickens in PvP?
Wow.
I don't understand. Where are the free chickens?
Oh, God.
Like,
well, if you need an explanation, if anyone needs an explanation for free chicken right now in PvP is the Verity that it gives. The Verity and the XP. So if you are just there, hey, I'm going to admit one thing. Like, I was doing White Mage, and I had a little bit of XP left, and like people in my chat were telling me, Slyh, you should go PvP. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I would just be getting free chicken. I actually free chicken the front lines because I felt like so shitty because I've never healed in PvP and like so many people died. Like, and when I get into that front lines, the first thing someone said, and like I cringed at the thought, I was the only healer, first of all, and they said, stay with Slyh, he'll protect us. Okay. Okay, you have a lot of blind faith, good sir. I didn't. We lost. But yeah, I got my free chicken. So yeah, so free chicken, Verity, XP. That kind of is still a thing. I don't know how and if it will be rectified.
I don't think it will.
The EXP, personally, I hope it doesn't. Regardless of whether it incentivizes people to AFK, it's such a great way for DPS to level now from 60 to 70.
Yeah. Dungeons are still faster if you have a group.
If you have a group. If you don't, PvP is it's not only fun, but it's really good EXP.
Yeah. I think it takes 10 runs per level it's Pals of the Dead's comparable as a second job at 60 to 61 because you get 50% armory bonus. And I think it's only like a 20k difference or something like that. But after 61, it's Palace of the Dead stops scaling and PvP keeps scaling. Yeah. So
and Palace is also Palace and PvP is PvP.
I'd say maybe we need a better system for punishing people who AFK and less so nerf the EXP.
Yeah, maybe like.
Yeah. What do you think they should do anything about the Verity?
No, why? Why does it about Verity?
Okay.
There are so many ways to get Verity now.
I think a really solid way to do it would be if they could make a system for there's like a periodic check and it sees like how much damage you've dealt or taken or healed like in those periods of time.
That's slippery because you never know what team you're gonna get, and you could get like totally fucking annihilated.
Well, I mean, even if taking damage could also be a thing, to show you're at least like in the fight.
Yeah,
there's a lot of suggestions people have had. Yeah, continue.
The only thing with that though is like if you're defending your base and you're not doing anything, while that's like a valid thing to do, kind of screws you. So it's difficult to really find a way to.
Yeah.
I mean, people are making all kinds of suggestions. It's maybe you don't need to bring PvP down. Maybe fates. I honestly think that all the fate changes from 60 to 70 should probably be made 1 to 60 also, because I mean, Forlorn, Maiden, and the EXP bonus. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, those are great.
Those are great, and I feel like they shouldn't just be limited to 60 to 70. Maybe they will at some point. But also, the fact that DPS, of course, have the long queues. We expected this. This is not news. This is not a surprise. We all expected DPS queues to be longer. And there's ideas floating around about making it so that if you're in queue longer, that at least there's some sort of scaling reward the longer you're in the queue. So when you do finally get the queue, it's worth waiting for, in a sense. You don't always feel like you're wasting time. Or just make the dungeons themselves even more EXP than they were. A good example is Google Hard Mode is approximately the same EXP as Siren Song C, even though Siren Song C is a level higher. So some people are just doing Google Hard Mode to do 60 to 63 instead of skipping Siren Song C altogether. There's
normal still gives good XP.
Yeah. So there's a lot of adjustments people want them to make, but I think the ultimate conclusion is PvP as it is now should remain an option for people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because also people don't like seeing tanks selling queues. They're making bank too.
Oh man, I got my paladin up so fast.
Oh man. There's yeah, and then we also have to consider we don't know how the next deep dungeon will work, when it'll even come, or if there'll be any new options going forward. So there's still room for improvement, but overall the leveling process here is better.
Pretty decent. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of choices here.
Could be better, but no like real complaints.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that, especially when you do the fucking boss fates and it's like 350,000 XP.
And then you have the double, and it's like near 1 million for some. It's like, oh,
yeah,
Jesus.
It's pretty nice when it all comes together. So
yeah,
I'd say overall that I can't say that kind of speaks to the entire expansion. Feels like for most part, other than some of the job changes, most everything's just higher quality and not as annoying.
Agreed.
Yeah, they they're like, we got this bigger budget, and we were all wondering how are they going to put it to use? Are they really going to make it better? And I think they did.
WrestleMania
WWE made it definitely made it better. Good old Vince. Thank you, Vince.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with what they've done so far. I hope that they can rectify the few things, and especially with the job balancing that they've definitely not given its full attention, and that we can see positive experiences out of the Lost Canals of Uznair, which I totally. There you go, Carl's Jr. Is that it's Carl's Jr. Right? It's not Hardy's.
It's Hardy's.
It's Hardy's.
It's Hardy's
in the
south.
It's Hardy's there. Well, it's Hardy's in the east. It's Carl's Jr. in the west. I thought it was the other way around. I guess.
Yeah, we got Hardy's out here.
Yeah, Papa John's. I did not order pizza from Papa John's.
You should have done Domino's.
That's what.
Oh,
there's no
Pizza
winner
Hut.
there either. There's no winning here if you're gonna pick.
I think Domino's is better than Papa John's.
That's like saying the shit I took this morning is better than the shit I took yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, it's better, so.
Yeah, if you say so. You can have your Domino's.
I'll take better poops over worse ones. I'm just saying.
That's a great way to pull it all together, I suppose.
Yeah.
All right. So, is there anything you want to add regarding the next few weeks regarding looking forward to patch 4.1 now that we've kind of gotten a glimpse of how the next 3.5 months will go, minus the exact difficulties of things like Omega, Savage, and whatnot? Is there any sort of hope you have going into 4.1 after seeing the quality of 4.0?
Merri?
Hope springs eternal.
What?
I take that as he's optimistic.
I got hope.
Yeah.
I got hope. Lots of hope.
Sly?
I'm optimistic. A lot of people had issue. Well, not even issue, but some people say, well, Susano was so easy, Lakshmi so easy. I kind of worried about Omega. I think it'll be fine. Still hoping for Final Trial EX and hoping that's fucking amazing eventually when we get that. I don't know when. But yeah, in terms of Omega, I have a lot of hope that the difficulty will kind of be on par with what we're thinking. It'll actually have a difficulty curve instead of blank wall and then fucking easy.
Blank A3 Savage.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, I think my number one thing I want to see going over the next 3 months, I want to see the same quality of narrative going into anything that has a narrative that I saw go into the 4.0 story. Because I have at this point seen all the story cutscenes. Like I promised, I did it almost all by Thursday. I finished it Friday morning. I want to see Omega have a solid narrative. I especially want to see Return to Ivalice have a solid narrative.
Maybe he's working on that. There's going to be no problem.
Listen. anything can be a problem. I need to see to believe.
Maybe it's working on it. I have faith that it Return to Ivalice will be good.
That's my number one thing, because the big thing with Final Fantasy 14 is a lot of people don't care about story. It's not always that, it's not just because A Realm Reborn had underwhelming moments. It's also because they just want to get to the content. And I enjoy the stories, but I am somewhat the same way. I'm always going to try to get to the content and then go back and enjoy the story. Mm-hmm. But if I have these impressive narratives there, I may go out of my way to do more of them. Like, I still haven't done Scholastic yet. I haven't done it. I don't care.
Jeez. God, the emote, man. Emotes.
Oh, man.
I haven't finished the Delivery Moogle quests.
Emotes and glamour.
I'll agree with you there. Like, I don't know.
Things like that. Even Slyh. Like, Sly's narrative was awful. It was a nice little touching. It was a touching little story with like, especially only one of the cutscenes. I was really like, that's a great cutscene. And most people who've done Slyh know at this point which cutscene it is. It's the first one where you really interact with all the Aleapos, pretty much. Yeah. Mm. But I would like to see a better quality of narrative. The next delivery quest, whoever it ends up being, I want to see a better narrative there. I want to see better narratives in the side quests. Even Hildebrand, the last two Hildebrands had better narratives than the whole first bunch. And Hildebrand's a big one where he kind of went from being like a huge point in A Realm Reborn to being who really cares in Heavensward, and we know he's coming back. Untalked about right now, but we know he's coming back, and they are once again considering trials for him as well to give him a better feel. Yeah. There's so many things that could have good narratives that just fell flat for me over the years. So
with the increase of budget, do you think we will actually get voiced Return to Ivalice?
I'm 50-50. I still don't think.
Yeah, I don't think so, but maybe. We'll see.
I don't think we will. I don't think we will. I think Return to Ivalice. I don't think you need to. Every Final Fantasy before 10 didn't have voice acting. I've played those a million times over. It is a new day and age, and you should be aiming for it, especially with all of the problems voice actors have been having over the last year in terms of payment and what their value is in terms of the gaming industry. I feel like putting more voice acting in is a good way of showing support to those voice actors that have been, struggling because of all the issues.
Yeah.
So I would like to see them support that more. But as long as the narratives are strong, and I would like to point out, by the way, even the side quests, I may actually go back and do some of the side quests, like the tiny ones.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
There are really better narratives, even in the shitty side quests, that I fucking skipped all of them because I was like, I'm tired of doing this shit. The game doesn't even work. It's early access. I don't want to go into I don't want to do anything that might disconnect me. But I've heard great things about a lot of those narratives.
Yeah, I would say, and I kind of agree with Celestia in chat. I would say give voice acting to the side quest storylines that were. I'm not going to spoil any of them. If you haven't done them, please go do them. Like, some of the storylines within each of the areas were well done. I never had that kind of immersion within a side quest. I would just usually fucking skip through the text, skip through the dialogue, just get me my shit so I can get my XP and then move on to the main story quests. But no, I actually started doing some of these side stories, and they were really fucking good in terms of lore. So,
and not only just that, but like some of them are really interesting, like mechanically and things they do. I'm not gonna like go too deep into this or like say where it is or what it is, but there's a quest out there where you have a like chat bubble, like an NPC, your character. Like they do so many different things now in these quests. It's not just you talk to them and you nod and then you go do a thing. Like there's actual stuff to these quests on top of the story. Like it's really cool that they're trying new things. So
yeah, I just as long as they can keep proving that as a Final Fantasy game it has a strong narrative, even the more minuscule things like that I will derive more enjoyment from. And so that is my big thing going to 4.1. I don't want to see a looser, less exciting narrative, whether it be main story, Omega, side quests, whatever. Good narratives, but still don't add voice acting to Hildebrand. That guy's not supposed to have a voice. Yeah, it's one of those NPCs you can never voice. You can't do it, or it's ruined forever.
You just can't voice the O face.
Yeah. You can't have somebody be like, what? You can't.
Yeah.
Just the silly side sound effects are enough for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, are there any final points you'd like to hit before we wrap up State of the Realm this week?
Thank you, SC. That's good. Thank you for all your hard work. It paid off.
Hey, look, an S rank just spawned. Perfect.
Great.
It's in a Realm Reborn one, so it'll be dead in 2 seconds. But
yeah. One Midari Setsugeka.
Yep. What, dude? It's pretty frightening how quickly the Realm Reborn and Heavensward S ranks just disappear off the face of the fucking earth.
Just sneeze at them.
It's because people want the 2,000. You need to get the hit in, or you don't get the 2,000. You know what I mean?
Not only just that, but like getting marks for the riding logs and stuff.
Yeah.
This riding logs feel pretty good, man. Oh, no one's here. Perfect. I'm the only one here. Oh my god, an Ixion mount. Looks so good. I'm sorry. I had to point that out. It looks really, really good. Oh, another one. They're just riding up.
I'm never gonna get that shit.
Just riding up in fucking waves now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, I think we're going to wrap up State of the Realm for this week. Next week will be Spoilercast. Ethos will be joining us again for that one as well.
Wait, next week is Merca Day, right?
Yes, next week is also July 4th. Do we need to change the day of the show, Slyh?
No.
Okay, I was just making sure, because like I know for Ethos, obviously it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
For me, I'm doing my celebrations the weekend before, and I didn't know about you.
Yeah, I'm just doing my birthday stream the day before, but that's it.
All right, there you go.
Yeah.
Birthday. You're one day off from being a Liberty baby.
I couldn't wait on the fireworks.
My mom tried waiting till New Year's, because do you know if you're the first baby born in New Year's in like your county, the state, or federal, you they like reward you with like random shit, like a year's worth of diapers and like $10,000 and like scholarship and whatever.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, that is going to be a wrap for the show. Next week will be July 4th. So if you're available, if you're free, if you don't have work, whatever it is, be sure to come by the show.
Of course you're free. You're in America.
Not everyone's in America, Slyh. We're in America.
For those who are, you're free. You're free.
Celebrate it. And it will be a pretty good episode, because we'll be literally talking about the freedom of a nation on July 4th.
Oh shit! Yeah,
God
perfect.
damn it.
It's like actually
State of the Freedom.
Yeah, and we can't really talk about Omega Story that day. The Omega Story will be locked away, because that'll be the day of Omega Story. All right. So on that note, why don't we wrap up the show? Merri, why don't you tell them where they can find you at, my good sir?
You can find me at, well, if you look on the screen right now, it says like a little Twitter bird. I'm there.
Yeah. Well, it says it now. It says it. There we go. Okay.
Yeah. I'm also at twitch.tv/very_Merri. And I'll be there probably later doing Red Mage things.
Oddly specific. Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Slyh, you're up next, my man.
You can find me on twitch.tv/Slyh, aka Greyfox. You can find me on Twitter at Slythefox. You can find me on Instagram at Slyh, aka Greyfox07. You can find me on Facebook at Slyh, aka Greyfox. You can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/The Velvet Room. You can find me on Twitch in a little while, trying to finish my White Mage. I'm gonna get that done.
Yeah.
I gotta get that done too, man. Might do that tomorrow. Oh no, I got episode Prompto tomorrow. That's right.
Oh yeah.
Gotta do it.
And Haps, where can they find you if they didn't know already?
They can find me here. Yeah, here. They can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, Mr. Happy1227, and it'll be good. I put out my Susano and my Lakshmi guides, which basically just say TLDR Vril, TLDR, please don't
Vril.
Please don't aim the fucking thunderheads through the group. That is the whole guide for both of them. It's the only thing you need to know. And I'm working on my monk guide right now, getting the specifics down for timing on a lot of things, and it's gonna be good. I've got a lot of content planned, including some non-14 content like Prompto. Like I have some Destiny 2 footage I need to go over still for the PC at 4K 60 FPS on NVIDIA.
Boy.
On an NVIDIA.
Oh my God.
On a 1080 Ti. Oh man, it was. I don't care about 4K most of the time, but that was beautiful, my man. Okay. On that note, though, we're going to move on over into a short post show. That way, all of us can either go eat dinner or get to our regularly scheduled programs that we have afterwards. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this week. We'll see you next week for Spoiler Cast. And until then, take care.
See you next week.
Bye.
And we're Gucci.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Found an A rank.